Under Fabian Hürzeler, Brighton have been a very, very exciting team to watch, whether it's when they have a one midfield system and 6 players are pushing up, or whether it's the gung-ho style of defending. But there's something off about them this season at times. They're very inconsistent. Between the 29th of November and the 4th of January, they didn't win a game. And most recently, they just had a 7-0 defeat to Nuno Espirito Santo's Forest. And although Forest are, third in the league table, it's still not an excuse to be losing to a side of Forest quality. Brighton also spent over €200 million in the summer. Jorginho Rutter, Minter, Vifer, Gruder, Kadloglu, O'Reilly, Osman, Gomez. Aaron Cashin's just come in the January transfer window. There's too many players to be naming. And it's a different Brighton model from what we've seen, because normally they buy cheap, sell for high. All of a sudden, 40 million on Rutter, 40 million on Minter, 35 million on Vifer. They're signing players for big amounts of money. They're transitioning from a club who just sell to the big ones to trying to become big themselves. And with the model which they've had over the years of signing for cheap and selling for high, it wouldn't surprise me if they can convert by signing a player for 30 or 40 million and selling them for like 70, 80, 90. Most recently, Mitoma, they've rejected a bid of €95 million from Saudi League. That's absolutely crazy. They bought him for less than 20 million, so in this space of 4 years, when they signed him in 2021 to 2025, making a profit of what is like 500% would be insane. It feels like their model is very much, if they can't replace Mitoma, then they're not going to sell him. And it's quite good to see a Premier League side that's not in the traditional Big Six say, no, it's a big bid, but we want to keep one of our best players because we don't think we can find value in the market to replace him. And Mitoma probably doesn't want to go to the Saudi League if he's happy at Brighton. I do feel like it's a more rounded Brighton squad from when they had the likes of Caicedo and McAllister, who would often be the star players. You look at the lineup from that Forest game, and there's not really any players in there who you think are like an elite level of operator. So there's instances in this Brighton squad where Hürzeler gets his team to play like a 3-1-6 formation. Often that means a fullback will drop back and another one will push forward. The 2 attacking 10s will be on the last line, and then one of the 2 CDMs will push forward, leaving just 1 CDM, 3 defenders to try and set up an attack. And it's so much different from De Zerbi's tactics, which was often a 4-2-4 to start with a keeper and do that thing where he's got his foot on the ball and he'd wait for his options, and they'd manufacture their own counter-attack by playing intricate little passing sequences to get those 4 players at the top of the pitch exposed to the 4 defenders. Another strategy is to just flood the box with players. Often there's instances where there's 5 or 6 players just there waiting for the cutback or waiting for the cross or whatever delivery it's going to be, often from the likes of Mitoma or Minter or Adingra, making inverted runs down the line. And what it means is the opposition who are trying to defend these attacks where players are flooding into the box and getting in and around the box, it means that they don't want to leave too many players forward because they're going to be exposed defensively and they're not going to want to be prioritising a counter-attack when they might be conceding a goal themselves. And there's an instance where Brighton are using a 3-2-5 shape. It's a bit more normal where one of the fullbacks will tuck in, one of them will go forward, and the 2 CDMs are pivoting. The ball's played around quite nicely, and all of a sudden the 2 10s, so the 2 more narrower players on the wide side of the front line, cut back, trying to receive the ball in between the lines. And this makes the Everton right-backs not know who to be tracking. And all of a sudden, he's out of position, he's exposed, the ball gets played in behind, and Brighton have 4 players all running into the box to try and get on the end of Lamptey's cross. And in the end, they don't score, but they have a lot of chances like this. Now, in a match where Brighton lost 7-0, it's probably quite easy to pick apart some of the issues in their team. The initial one would be the starting lineup for me. They literally went into it playing like a 4-1-4-1 formation. But in that 4 behind the striker, it was 2 wingers and 2 shadow strikers in João Pedro and Jorginho Rutter. They're not known for their defensive actions. And it meant that Hinshelwood, a CDM who's not been playing a huge amount this season, Brighton still don't fully know his best position, was the only midfielder they pivoted. And Nuno Espirito Santo had a feeling that Hürzeler was going to go really attacking, and he knew what Brighton's options were on the team. So Nuno went for a 5-3-2 or 5-2-1-2 system where Gibbs White tucked it onto the right side of midfield, Danilo came back into the starting 11, Morato dropped into the back line. And in this match, as much as I've said that the formation wasn't right, individuals have to take action. Van Hecker for the 3rd and 4th goal was absolutely terrible. There was one where Elanga cut it back to Chris Wood and he just wasn't in the right position. Dunk, he's another player who didn't play very well in that match. For the second goal, I'm pretty sure it was for Forest, he completely missed a header which left the defence exposed. And Forest are a very, very physical side. When you've got Tyreek Lamptey at left back, and you've got Mitoma on the wing, and you've got Minter on the wing, and you've got three strikers basically playing, and Hinshelwood, who's not very physical. And Forest have three big bastards at centre back. They've got Chris Wood. They've got a lot of a threat there against physicality. And Brighton this season, just to cap it off, have been very inconsistent. As I said at the start of the video, they had a period of over a month where they had 8 matches, they got 6 draws and 2 losses, which means the whole of December they didn't even pick up a single win. They haven't played the same starting 11 from one match to another the whole season, which shows that Hertzler still doesn't know his best tactic and his best lineup. And with 8 wins, 10 draws and 6 losses, it's not a bad debut season for Hertzler, who's not even 35 yet, I'm pretty sure. So there's a lot to build on this season. Can they make a push for Europe at the second half of the season? I think it's definitely possible, you know. With all the signings that they made this summer, there's like 5, 6, 7 players that they're bedding into the starting lineup. Brighton are definitely going to be a team that you want to watch. So I want you to get down in the comments. Are Brighton going to make Europe this season, or is it just going to be like a bit of a mid-table finish as Hertzler's bedding in the few players and obviously bedding in himself into Brighton? Then they can push on next season. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you want the next video to be about. Please subscribe to the channel whilst you're here, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.